What if one small cup before bed could warm your hands and feet, quiet your racing mind, and help you wake steadier and more sure of yourself? After 50, many men notice cooler extremities, broken sleep, and unpredictable confidence on the nights that matter most. You do not need expensive powders or gadgets. You need a gentle, repeatable cue that teaches your body to relax on schedule. In this video, I reveal a simple night drink built from ordinary kitchen ingredients that supports circulation, calms the nervous system, and helps you arrive at deeper sleep with less effort. Starting tonight with clarity. I'm Dr. Sophia Bennett, a board-certified urologist and men's health specialist who has spent 2 decades helping men rebuild stamina, sleep, and confidence after 50. My approach is practical. Translate trustworthy physiology into simple habits you can test at home without hype or expensive stacks. In Strong After 50, I focus on circulation, hormones, nervous system balance, and recovery, the pillars that determine how you feel at night and perform the next day. Tonight's tool is a warm culinary level drink. I will show you how to make it safely, personalize it, and evaluate results over one straightforward week, calmly, consistently, and intelligently. For many men after 50, the first signals of drifting circulation arrive quietly. Toes that stay cool under the covers, calves that tighten on the stairs, and a mind that refuses to idle at midnight. Individually, none feels dramatic. Together, they describe a system that has lost flexibility. Healthy blood flow depends on an agile endothelium, the vessel lining that releases nitric oxide so arteries relax on demand. With age, oxidative stress rises, nitric oxide output falls, and walls trade elastic snap for stiffness. The pipe remains open, but it adapts more slowly to your needs. Hormones, muscle, and metabolism reinforce the picture. Testosterone is not a magic switch, yet it influences vascular tone, red blood cell production, and lean mass. When muscle shrinks from inactivity, the calf muscle pump weakens, so blood lingers in the legs. Insulin resistance blunts endothelial function and exaggerates post-dinner glucose swings that keep the nervous system alert when you want it restful. Years of blood pressure load and cholesterol roughen arterial surfaces and dull responsiveness long before a major blockage appears. Evening habits can magnify the trend. A heavy late meal shunts blood toward digestion and away from the periphery, leaving hands and feet cooler. Simple carbohydrates drive a quick rise and fall in glucose, and those swings press the sympathetic nervous system, the body's accelerator. Alcohol feels relaxing, but it fragments sleep, raises nighttime heart rate, and undermines deep stages. Caffeine lingers for hours. An afternoon cup can still be nudging alertness at bedtime. Screens and unfinished tasks keep the brain scanning for problems, tightening the chest and narrowing vessels. Arrive even mildly dehydrated, and circulating volume drops so the heart must push harder to deliver oxygen and warmth. Sleep, then, completes the loop. Deep, continuous sleep is when the brain clears metabolic byproducts, the heart enjoys a lower pressure rest, and hormones align with repair. Fragmented sleep keeps inflammatory signals higher and makes insulin work less effectively the next day, further weakening endothelial performance. You wake unrefreshed, skip your walk, and miss the muscular contractions that would have supported venous return. Over weeks, what looks like inevitable aging is often a pattern of inputs that can be changed. Confidence rides on this physiology. Erections are an early barometer because they rely on coordination of arterial inflow, venous compression, and relaxed smooth muscle. When circulation is sluggish and nerves stay keyed up, results become unpredictable. That uncertainty erodes confidence more than any single off night. Anticipating difficulty tightens the system and a loop forms. Poorer flow leads to lighter sleep and hesitation, which invites more worry, which narrows flow again. The encouraging reality is that this loop is interruptible. Warmth encourages vessels to relax and draw blood toward the skin and extremities. Steady hydration restores volume. Evening choices that keep glucose steadier calm the nervous system. Slow breathing and aromas invite the vagus nerve, the body's brake pedal, to take the lead. When these signals are layered consistently, men often notice fewer 2 a.m. awakenings, warmer hands and feet under the covers, and a steadier sense of readiness the following morning. Understanding the problem this way reframes your options. You do not need complicated stacks or punishing routines. You need repeatable cues that respect how a mature body transitions from day to night. Everything we have discussed converges on one habit for ordinary evenings: a warm night drink, prepared with intention, sipped without hurry, and paired with a wind down. Its benefit comes from reliable cues a mature body understands: heat that relaxes vessels, fluid that restores volume, aroma that feels safe, and timing that tells the nervous system the day is complete. When those cues repeat, circulation eases, sleep deepens, and morning steadiness returns. Begin with water. Many men reach evening mildly dehydrated after hours of coffee, climate control, and distracted sipping. A single mug of warm water restores circulating volume and makes the heart's work easier. Warm rather than scalding liquid draws blood toward the skin and extremities, and you may feel comfort spreading through your hands and feet within minutes. That sensation signals safety and helps the body swap vigilance for recovery. Add fresh ginger for gentle warmth without stimulation. Slice the root into thin coins so more surface area meets the water. A level teaspoon when chopped is a sensible starting point. Bring a 1/4 liter of water to a soft simmer, not a rolling boil, and add the ginger. Let it simmer for 5 minutes to tint the infusion light gold and release a mellow fragrance. This restraint keeps the drink kind to a mature stomach while delivering the glow you want near bedtime. Ceylon cinnamon joins after the heat is off. Choose Ceylon rather than common cassia because the flavor is softer and the coumarin content is lower, which suits regular nightly use. Add a small piece of stick or a 1/4 teaspoon of ground Ceylon cinnamon and steep for 3 to 5 minutes. Cinnamon is a supportive note that helps the after-dinner glucose curve drift rather than spike and dip. When evening glucose is steadier, sympathetic drive eases, and the threshold into sleep becomes less fragile. Strain the liquid into a favorite mug so the texture is smooth. If you enjoy a rounded edge, swirl in half to 1 teaspoon of honey and taste. The intention is comfort, not dessert. A modest touch can soften flavor, and, for some who wake in the early hours with a small rise of adrenaline, provide enough substrate to smooth that moment. If you want a cleaner cup or tighter glucose control, skip the honey. If reflux visits at night, avoid citrus and keep the liquid closer to warm than hot. Timing amplifies the effect. Finish dinner at least 90 minutes before bed. Prepare the mug 30 to 45 minutes before lights out. Sit while you sip, breathe slowly, and let the heat set the pace. Treat the ritual as the first paragraph of sleep, not the last chore of the day. Personalize lightly so the habit serves you. If you flush easily, use 2 or 3 thin slices of ginger and shorten the simmer. If your feet stay cold, keep the full teaspoon of ginger and steep Ceylon cinnamon toward the longer end. If early morning hunger wakes you, pair the drink with 3 almonds. If reflux is common, keep the liquid warm rather than hot and skip lemon. If cinnamon is not your taste, let ginger and heat do the work. If ginger is not your taste, plain warm water still carries the cues. Use a 7-night protocol to evaluate clearly. Nights 1 and 2, brew the base recipe and protect 10 quiet minutes around it. Nights 3 and 4, adjust 1 variable and note changes in warmth, time to fall asleep, and awakenings. Nights 5 through 7, hold steady. Each morning, record those 3 markers on a bedside card so patterns can guide your next tweak. Let the drink anchor a short evening arc so effects stack. Take a 10-minute unhurried walk after dinner to recruit the calf muscle pump. After the last sip, spend 5 minutes with quiet nasal breathing. Keep the room warm and the lights soft. Safety is straightforward. If you take anticoagulants, have a bleeding disorder, or recently had a procedure, keep ginger light and speak with your clinician before making this nightly. Choose Ceylon cinnamon for frequent use because cassia contains more coumarin. If your blood sugar or blood pressure is under medical management, keep honey modest or omit it and watch morning numbers. Pause if anything feels off, palpitations, unusual flushing, or persistent heartburn, and adjust or take a break. Plan for travel and social evenings. In a hotel, most rooms include a kettle. Order hot water to steep. At a restaurant or a friend's home, a plain mug of warm water after dinner still helps. Consistency is not perfection. It is coming back at the next opportunity. What should improvement feel like? First, you notice sensations. Warmer hands and feet under the covers, a quieter chest as the lights go off, a quick drift to sleep. Next come fewer or briefer awakenings with an easier return. Finally, mornings feel better, steadier mood, smoother first steps, and a more reliable sense of readiness when intimacy calls. Confidence grows from repeatable wins, not pep talks. If the flavor does not suit you, keep the principle and change the form. Warm water alone, sipped slowly, carries much of the benefit. If you enjoy herbal notes, add a whisper of caffeine-free chamomile, keeping the brew light so it calms rather than stimulates. Avoid stimulating spices and concentrated essential oils near bedtime, and avoid large late evening volumes of fluid that disrupt sleep. By the end of week 1, judge success by quieter nights and steadier mornings. A dependable descent into sleep, warmer extremities, and a clearer stride as you start the day tell you the system is learning the pattern. This nightly cup is not a miracle. It is a simple craft you practice with your own hands. It replaces scattered evening choices with a steady sequence your brain and vessels recognize and gives you small levers, more or less ginger, longer or shorter steep, honey or no honey, to work with your body rather than against it. For week 2, keep the recipe steady and shift attention to consistency. Brew at the same time, in the same mug, with the same unhurried steps. If reflux appears, shorten the ginger simmer, sip more slowly, and move your last bite of dinner earlier. If early hunger wakes you, pair the drink with 3 almonds and keep honey modest. If you feel flushed, reduce ginger to a few thin slices and hold the cinnamon steep shorter. When travel disrupts your schedule, order hot water, steep what you can, and keep the ritual quiet. Protect the bedroom from bright screens and tense conversations so the parasympathetic signal is not drowned. Measure progress by simple markers: time to fall asleep, awakenings, and the warmth of hands and feet at lights out. These are not trivial details. They are proof that your nervous system recognizes the sequence and expects rest. Do not chase stronger spice or bigger mugs once results appear. Stay with the smallest effective dose that gives you a reliable benefit and a peaceful night. Return to it after ordinary detours, praise small wins, and keep the tone gentle. Confidence comes from quiet repetition that your body trusts night after night. When you turn a quiet cup into a nightly ritual, benefits reach well beyond circulation. Warm fluid and consistent timing create a safety signal that lets the nervous system release its grip, so sleep arrives with less tossing. Because the first hours are deeper, you often wake clearer, with joints less stiff and a steadier willingness to move. That early momentum nudges daytime choices in your favor. A short walk feels inviting, water replaces the second coffee, and late afternoon mood holds steadier. Circulation and sleep reinforce each other. As hands and feet warm more easily at night, morning muscles feel ready sooner, and confidence grows from those predictable wins. Metabolism benefits too. A calmer evening and steadier glucose curve reduce sudden adrenaline spikes that can pull you out of sleep, so you experience fewer 2 a.m. awakenings or return to sleep more quickly when they happen. The heart appreciates the gentler path as resting rate settles and breathing finds an unhurried rhythm. When the drink displaces alcohol and dinner sits earlier, reflux usually quiets and the chest feels less tight under the covers. Intimacy can improve indirectly, not through fireworks but through foundation, responsive vessels, rested nerves, and a mind that is not arguing with itself. That steadiness is what allows readiness to feel natural rather than fragile. Because the habit is modest, culinary, and easy to repeat, it slips into ordinary evenings without friction. Consistency is where small actions become meaningful results, night after night, season after season, together. At 56, Daniel thought his body had become unpredictable. He ran a small woodworking shop, loved evening dinners with his wife, and often answered emails late with a glass of wine. By midnight, his feet were cold, his calves hummed with tension, and his mind scrolled through unfinished tasks. Most mornings began with a heavy head and a promise to do better tomorrow. After a quiet conversation at his checkup, he agreed to try a simple experiment: an earlier dinner, a warm night drink, and 10 minutes of slow breathing while the mug cooled in his hands. Night 1 felt pleasant but unremarkable. He slept about the same, yet he noticed his fingers warming as he finished the cup, and he reached for fewer headlines in bed. On night 3, he adjusted the ginger down slightly because his face flushed. The cinnamon steep stayed at 4 minutes, and he skipped honey. By the 5th evening, he added a slow lap around the block with his wife, talking about nothing important and letting the day exhale. He began setting his phone on the kitchen counter after 9 so the bedroom could remain a softer place. 1 week later, the difference was quietly undeniable. Daniel fell asleep more quickly and woke once instead of 3 times. His resting morning heart rate had drifted down a few beats on his smartwatch, and the fog behind his eyes cleared sooner. He found himself choosing water without thinking, and the first steps down to the shop felt less wooden. In the 2nd week, his hands and feet warmed under the covers almost automatically, and he stopped bracing for another long, unsettled night. On Friday, intimacy, which had begun to feel uncertain, unfolded without negotiation. He was surprised less by performance than by the ease of it, as if his body had stopped questioning whether it was ready. Daniel did not change careers or purchase gadgets. He changed signals. Warmth, hydration, steadier evening glucose, and a calmer nervous system retrained the arc of his nights. The drink acted as an anchor, but it was the consistent rhythm around it that mattered most. On a cold evening in late autumn, he realized he had not thought about his feet in a week. They were simply warm. He rinsed his mug, turned off the kitchen light, and felt a renewing pride in the ordinary discipline that had carried him there. This warm night drink is a culinary habit, not a medical treatment, and individual responses vary. Use moderate amounts: a teaspoon of sliced fresh ginger, a small piece of Ceylon cinnamon or 1/4 teaspoon ground, and no more than a teaspoon of honey. If you take anticoagulants, have a bleeding disorder, reflux, or gallstones, keep ginger light and discuss any regular use with your clinician. Choose Ceylon cinnamon for nightly routines because cassia contains more coumarin. Excess coumarin may stress the liver. If you live with diabetes or are pursuing tighter glucose targets, skip honey or keep it minimal and monitor your readings. Anyone with chronic kidney disease or heart failure should pay attention to evening fluids and timing to avoid sleep disruption. If new symptoms appear, palpitations, flushing, heartburn, rash, or dizziness, reduce intensity or stop and seek professional advice. This video does not diagnose, treat, or replace individualized medical care. Sleep, steady blood sugar, movement, and stress management are pillars that work together. This drink is only one supportive cue. If you suspect sleep apnea, uncontrolled blood pressure, chest pain, or persistent erectile dysfunction, arrange evaluation. Use common sense, be consistent, and adjust to your body's feedback over time. If tonight's plan makes sense, give it a trial. Eat a little earlier, brew the warm cup as described, and keep the last hour calm. Do this for 7 nights and track 3 things on a bedside card: time to fall asleep, awakenings, and how warm your hands and feet feel under the covers. Share your results in the comments and tell me which tweak helped most. For more practical, science-grounded steps to rebuild circulation, energy, and confidence after 50, subscribe to Strong After 50, ring the bell, and send this video to a friend who needs a steadier night.